And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Starting off with satellite imagery. You can see clouds here across southern Alaska here with areas of snow and rain, especially along the North Gulf Coast into the Kenai Peninsula, the heaviest amounts. Southwest Prince William Sound on down into Homer, Seldovia, Port Muller area in toward Kamishak Bay. Seldovia picking up 1¼ inches of rain during the 12-hour period today, ending at 3 p.m. Rain here across the southeast coast. Clouds with the next system moving northeastward here as the main low center is going to track in over the southern Queen Charlotte Islands later tonight, but they'll be close enough to keep, actually increase the rain there for the southern panhandle, but the strongest winds will stay to the south. And from there, moving to today's chart, we have low pressure that pulled westward here right over the Kenai Peninsula today, bringing pretty good snow into the Kenai-Soldotna area, on into the central Kenai Peninsula. Much lighter amounts of precipitation down towards Seward, and again the heavier rain for Seldovia, Homer, and Port Muller there into areas of Kamishak Bay, with rain still occurring this afternoon around Kodiak at the state airport there. And then with this trough swinging into the panhandle, rain there. Some snow over the central interior, basically dry. Northern Cook Inlet, Mananuska-Susitna Valley into the Copper River Basin. Widespread area of light snow here over the southwest part of the state with a weak trough right through here. That kind of extending up over the northern Bering Sea. Gusty winds, areas of the Arctic coast, along with areas of light snow and flurries up in that area. Low pressure over the Bering Sea, pretty weak, no really heavy wind or precipitation associated with this. And tonight, that will start to slip southward and become less of a factor there as this stronger system brings gale force winds into the eastern Aleutians with rain spreading into Falls Pass late tonight. Otherwise, something of a break here for the southwest part of the state. Widespread area of snow. Look for some areas, south central Alaska, picking up several inches possibly here. Mixed precipitation down toward the southern Cook Inlet area, mostly rain, Prince William Sound, places like Seward and the North Gulf Coast, and still kind of damp over the southeast coast as this storm system tracks in across the southern Queen Charlotte Islands. That'll produce continued steady rain over the southern panhandle with lighter amounts, a little more intermittent up to the north there. And for tomorrow, high pressure, weak high pressure developing here, drying it out with light winds for the North Gulf Coast. Could be a precipitation-free day. If not that, it could be a precipitation-free afternoon anyway there. Maybe some lingering flurries there, showers along the Alaska Range, both northern Copper River Basin here, and possibly western Cook Inlet over toward the eastern slopes of the western Alaska Range. Otherwise, the interior pretty good with just some areas of light snow around and light winds. And still kind of showery there, especially over the southern panhandle, but rainfall amounts there are much lighter. Big storm coming right over on Alaska Island tomorrow. This is a perfect setup for very strong winds there across the Alaska Peninsula, especially for Cold Bay. Could see gusts to 80 miles an hour if this system tracks up into this position here at about 950 millibars or so. Gale and storm force winds, mostly storm force winds around the center here, with gales extending out into Bristol Bay and Kodiak Island later tomorrow and tomorrow afternoon. Quieter conditions over the northern Bering Sea, areas of light snow here through the Bering Straits. And then we'll see on for the day Tuesday. Let me back it up one there. Now stay out of the way of the progression of that system. Pulling slowly northward there toward the southwest coast, the front pushing up into the interior, so gusty winds, areas of snow and blowing snow from the Yukon Delta right through the central interior, all the way over toward the border there, and strong winds with areas of mixed precipitation, mostly rain over southern Alaska, rain for Bristol Bay, Kodiak Island, all of the North Gulf Coast, wind and rain, and storm force winds, or gale force winds for the panhandle here as this front approaches, and definitely rain spreading over the entire area there. Looking at pretty windy conditions all the way up to the Arctic coast there, with good gales there in the western Arctic coast and the Chukchi Sea areas. Now extending southward there in toward the Fox Islands, but winds becoming lighter out there to the west. And from here we'll go to the overnight low temperatures for tonight. 30s for the southeast coast, 5 to 15 or so in the central interior, teens and 20s for the Arctic coast, 20s out to the southwest coast, 30s out over the Aleutians, and lower 30s here south central Alaska, upper 30s Kodiak Island. Highs tomorrow in the 40s, Kodiak Island, Alaska Peninsula and the Aleutians, mid 30s for Bristol Bay, and in the lower to mid 30s here for south central Alaska. Otherwise, the southeast coast, mid to upper 40s, and in the 20s in the central interior, teens for the Brooks Range, and in the 20s again for the Arctic coast. Lows on Tuesday morning, right around 0 there for the Brooks Range, single numbers in the northern valley south of the mountains there. Right around 10 or 10 to 15 for the Tanana Valley, down into the Copper River Basin, back down into the 20s for all areas of south central Alaska, except down along the coast there, Homer over toward Whittier, and in the 30s for the Panhandle. That'll be followed by highs about back into the 20s there to near 30 in the central interior, and highs 35 to 42 there for south central Alaska, closer to 45 for Homer. Upper 40s for Kodiak Island. Again, warmer, that southeast wind, southerly flow here, bringing warmer air back into all areas of southern Alaska here. Temperatures rising up to lower to mid 30s in the Copper River Basin, 40s for the southeast coast.